Imagine this. You're 25, wedged into a micro apartment that feels more like a glorified closet than a living space. Clutching a lukewarm mug of coffee while your thumb flicks past yet another social media reel promising retire by 35 riches. The reel seems equal parts fantasy and taunt. The rent is due. Your disposable income evaporates before mid-month, and seven-figure portfolios belong to people with corner offices, not mismatched IKEA furniture. Yet fast forward 10 short years. You're still drinking coffee because some habits are worth keeping, but now it's on the balcony of a condo that you own. Your brokerage app hums a gentle shade of green, reflecting an account balance that has finally crested the magic number, 1 million US dollars. That tidy seven-figure sum doesn't just look pretty. It quietly generates enough income that you could choose to keep your day job, turn your weekend side hustle into a full-time boutique cafe, or stash your passport and chase dawns across Patagonia. The leap from shoebox to seven figures sounds Hollywood, but beneath the gloss lies a surprisingly mechanical journey. One that trades get-rich-quick fantasies for a disciplined, almost boring process. Tonight we're going to walk that path together in real time so you can pause, rewind, and graft each step onto your own life. First, anchor the destination. $1 million isn't a number plucked from motivational wallpaper. In most global metros, it is the down payment a bank actually respects, the amount of venture capitalists will agree signals skin in the game, and, perhaps most powerfully, the psychological moat that lets you dictate the terms of your career instead of begging for whatever terms you're handed. We choose 35 as the deadline because compound interest thrives on runway. Hit the milestones sooner, and you preserve the kind of youthful bandwidth, physical, emotional, and temporal, that makes freedom taste 100 times sweeter. So how do you translate that moonshot into math you can scribble on a napkin? Future value equals what you invest each month multiplied by the compounding factor. 8th grade algebra, no MBA required. Feed in the historical average of the broad US or global equity market, roughly 7 to 8% after inflation, closer to 10 or 11% before inflation if dividends are reinvested. The equation spits out a pair of unforgiving but empowering numbers. If you have 13 years in front of you, an annualized 10% return means you need to funnel about $3,500 every single month. Shorten the runway to 10 years, and the required monthly outlay jumps to just over $5,000. Stretch it to 15, and the number sinks toward $2,700. Brutally fair, absolutely, but also liberating, because once the target is etched in ink, you can architect a life whose cash flow engine hits that mark. Next, decide what those dollars will actually buy. Think of your portfolio as a twin-engine aircraft. The primary engine is a vanilla index fund, a low-cost slice of the S&P 500, MSCI World, FTSE All World, or whatever diversified basket captures the productive capacity of the planet. Roughly 80% of your monthly contribution pours into this engine, especially in the early years, because equities remain the only mainstream asset class with a proven record of beating inflation by a country mile over generational timeframes. The secondary engine, smaller yet critical, is the stabilizer, a short-duration bond ETF, a treasury ladder, or a high-grade corporate bond index. Bonds will not make you rich, but they keep you from ejecting in panic when equity markets take their inevitable nosedives. They mute volatility, buy you emotional resilience, and give you dry powder to rebalance when everybody else is panic selling. But what if your current salary barely clears $3,000 a month, let alone leaves room for a $3,500 investment? That's where the step-up superpower swoops in. Most professional incomes rise about 7 to 10% per year, and if yours doesn't, your skills can. Begin with whatever you can genuinely stomach. $1, $500 perhaps. Automate a rule that every raise, every annual review, every side project windfall nudges the contribution up by 10%. Your $1,500 becomes $1,650 next spring, $1,815 the year after, nearly $2,000 in year 3, and before you know it, the staircase of deposits, not your willpower, is doing the heavy lifting. Stay on that escalator for 13 years, and you land astonishingly close to the million-dollar helipad without ever resorting to ramen noodles 5 nights a week. Some of you are impatient, already tapping comments about how you can't wait 13 years. Fair. Acceleration comes in lump sum form. Maybe restricted stock units vest at your big tech employer. Maybe a grandmother leave you $25,000, or a freelance coding sprint nets a surprise $10,000 paycheck. Shovel that cash straight into the index fund. Overnight, you slash the monthly requirement from $3,500 to something closer to $2,000. Markets start the marathon immediately, compounding day and night whether you're awake, asleep, or somewhere on a red eye between time zones. Still, not everyone sleeps well when CNBC banners flash crimson. If volatility spikes your cortisol, nothing forbids you from flying a more balanced jet. 60% equities, 40% bonds from day one. Yes, your expected return moderates, and yes, the monthly contribution needs to rise. Call it $4,200 instead of $3,500, but your blood pressure may thank you. The secret sauce here is disciplined rebalancing. Once a year, maybe on your birthday, log in, trim whichever slice inflated beyond target, top up whichever slice shrank, and log out. That single ritual, repeated precisely 12 times in as many years, quietly adds nearly 1% of extra return while keeping your risk constant. Beyond the core, engines orbit a cluster of satellites, the shiny things everyone tweets screenshots of. Real estate investment trusts toss you rental income without the 30-year mortgage shackles. Gold ETFs or physical bullion serve as geopolitical shock absorbers. A judicious sprinkle of Bitcoin scratches the FOMO, it yet caps your downside to a level you can metaphorically set ablaze without losing sleep. Allocate 5, maybe 10% of net worth to these satellites. They're garnish, not the entree. So far we focused on money flowing out. Equally potent, often faster, is money flowing in. Invest in yourself like a startup, a cloud computing certificate, a machine learning course, a weekend UX design sprint. In knowledge economies, new credentials can catapult salary bands 20 or 30% overnight. Route every penny of that incremental income straight into your investment engines before lifestyle inflation kidnaps it. Make bonuses, commissions, and RSU vests feel like monopoly money you have no permission to spend until future you says so. Taxes appear next, because Uncle Sam, Uncle HMRC, or whichever uncle rules your jurisdiction always wants a slice. The good news: virtually every developed country offers wrappers that shelter growth. In the United States, you have 401(k)s, Roth IRAs, and HSAs. Canadians boast RRSPs and TFSAs. Brits get ISAs and pensions. Australians enjoy superannuation. Max those shelters religiously. A dollar never tax compounds faster than $1, 10, 20, or 30 cents each year. And each March, or whatever fiscal year end applies, harvest gains up to your tax-free allowance, reset your cost base, and let compounding resume undisturbed. Tax drag shave can knock months off your race to 7 figures. All these bricks rest on a foundation too many beginners overlook: insurance. A $500,000 term life policy and robust health or disability coverage cost less than most people's annual streaming subscriptions. Yet they firewall your compounding engine from medical or family black swans that wipe out portfolios faster than stock market crashes ever could. Protect first, then grow. Technology greases the journey in ways your parents might find magical. Broker apps let you schedule escalating investments that trigger automatically the day after payday. Robo-advisors rebalance your allocations if you so much as sneeze near a risk threshold. Account aggregators link every bank, retirement, credit card, and brokerage statement into a unified dashboard, so you always know your real-time net worth. Automation becomes discipline's best friend. What you never see, you never skip. The math and mechanics are solid, but abstract numbers often feel cold. So let's humanize the journey with 3 story arcs. Meet Ava, age 22, fresh software graduate earning $55,000. She launches a $1,500 monthly index fund investment, bumps it 10% each birthday, lets 80% ride equities, 20 rest in short-term treasuries. She rarely checks her account, ignores the downturns in years 3, 6, and 9. On her 35th birthday, she's startled to find a figure just north of $1.02 million, all because she treated investing as payroll, not prophecy. Enter Ben, 27, a mid-level engineer at a Fortune 500 giant. An RSU cliff payout drops $80,000 into his bank account. He hurls it directly into an all-world equity ETF, then sets a $3,000 hybrid contribution, 70% stocks, 30% bonds. Markets over the next decade limp along at a mere 8%, not 10%, but Ben still crosses 1 million by 35 because the lump sum starter pistol fired at point-blank range. Finally, meet Maya and Ethan, a dual-income couple who despise volatility. They split 60-30-10 across equities, bonds, and gold. Their joint S&P is $4,500, plus each of Maya's design consulting projects funnels an extra $10,000 a year into dividend-rich REITs. Their progress is slower, steadier. They cruise past the million-dollar buoy just shy of 37, having slept soundly the entire voyage. On the flip side lurk cautionary tales. The colleague who upgrades apartments every time the boss upgrades her salary and winds up cobbling rent together on payday eve. The friend paying 20+% credit card interest, triple the return you're chasing in the market. The rookie trader who bet the farm on margin, detonated the core portfolio, and lost half a decade of compounding. Learn from them. Guard cash flow, obliterate high-interest debt, sandbox any speculation to 5% you can incinerate without tears. We're in the last stretch, which is fitting because the final insight is that reaching a million by 35 seldom hinges on one cinematic moment. It's the byproduct of 1,000 mundane, automated choices. Skim 40% off your take-home before you ever smell it. Funnel most of it into globally diversified equities. As the milestone approaches, glide path into stability. Stack new skills so your income balloon expands faster than your appetite for gadgets. Lean on software so the process hums quietly in the background, immune to whatever drama financial news decides to broadcast. Markets will thrill, bore, and outright terrify you over 12 or 13 years. Your superpower is simple. Still show up every month. One quiet morning, perhaps before work, perhaps on a random Sunday, you'll open the brokerage app. Maybe out of habit. Maybe because your phone sent a dividend credit notification and the balance will read 7 digits. You might pop champagne or, more likely, shrug, make breakfast, and smirk at how anticlimactic the moment feels. That's because by then the number itself will be secondary. The true reward is knowing you bought yourself options. The option to pivot careers, to fund a sabbatical, to walk away from a toxic boss, or to bankroll a dream project without passing the hat. If any of this resonates, let the first domino fall tonight. Schedule a modest automatic investment before your head hits the pillow. Tomorrow you will feel smug. 35-year-old, you will raise a grateful toast to the decision forged in the next 5 minutes. And when that day comes, remember to pay the wisdom forward, because someone else will be sipping coffee in a shoebox, wondering if the escape velocity of $1 million is real. It is, and the launch sequence is waiting in your banking app. Here's to compounding quietly doing its magic, and to your money working harder than you ever need to. Thanks for watching, and may your money work harder than you ever need to. If you found value here, consider subscribing for more no-nonsense personal finance roadmaps. Drop a comment with your own strategy tweaks. And, as always, happy compounding. Please don't follow me if you want to stay broken and middle class.